Hello, what is up? It's Do It in Public. Welcome, Ross. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, doing good too. Like adding energy from the start.
Do it in public. You have nothing to hide. Start using the internet. Join the ride.
You super energy. Have you
Yeah,
been
you
practicing?
see also, I added this picture and then the back, like, do you see what is there?
It's a smashing guitar.
Yeah, skeleton smashing guitar. So that will be the energy for this call, I think.
Is that the energy you're bringing? Fire and
Yeah, I
destruction.
feel like at this moment. But earlier today I was rapping. Did you see this already or not?
No, I haven't seen it yet. No.
Yeah, you should check it. So it's based on my yesterday's tweet that says the coaches approach you, they wanted to coach you. You ask for to build coach, and the coach goes away.
Is that a career that you're gonna see yourself going into then?
Do you mean coaching?
Not a motivational rapping.
I think so. It's more about like all kind of content. So what I'm trying to do is to use. So I have like I think I found that I have a lot of like creative skills that I develop throughout the life, and I figure out that it's something that people think is cool. So I'm just trying to use like all these skills and knowledge about like pop culture to like mix it in one like crazy universe.
Dude, I think any way to get out any level of creativity to express yourself, you shouldn't be limited to one. You know, like if you find things enjoyable and think it's a good way of expressing yourself, then why not?
Yeah, it always was like that for me. Okay, so enough about me. Ross, welcome. So just to clarify, so we're like not were engaging with Ross a lot in Twitter, at least like from my side. So I'm tweeting like 100 times a day. So we've chatted a couple times, and I saw that Ross knows Stefan Weir, that is my friend, and I use him as an indicator for good people. So Ross just tweeted like about joining the Do It Public podcast. So I was happy to bring him in and learn his story. And it seems we have something cool to discuss. So Ross, tell us about yourself.
I'll give a quick one, as quick as possible, quick as I could ever do. Yeah, so I work in product management. So I have a day job, and that is in product management. So I help product teams build stuff. So it's the same stuff I do outside of work, but like in a corporate environment, which is kind of frustrating for a lot of reasons, but it allows me to do a lot of things with like official product management, which I think, in fact, a lot of people that are building products as like indie builders or solo founders, whatever, could really benefit from. Like there's a lot of like real, and I'm not saying everyone should be like really rigid with the way they do things, but there's a lot of stuff that people could do with a bit of process and a bit of, you know, a bit more rigidity that would allow them to build better things. And so I do that in my day job, but it's not as fulfilling because it's a slow corporate environment that's quite painfully slow. And I love bringing things to market. I love helping people bring things to market. And so along my way, I've worked a number of startups, I started a number of things myself, built products myself, built companies myself. And my issue is trying to focus on the thing that I want to do. So more recently, and the reason I kind of found what you were doing is because my dream has been to try and help other people bring stuff to market. Like I love that. It means that when it comes down to it, it's like, what do I really stand for? It's like I believe that anyone can bring something to market. It's just that they lack the support to be able to do it. So technically anyone could be a founder of some degree. I'm not saying that everyone has the skill set to be a full CEO or whatever, but they can have an idea. An idea can come from anywhere. It can be an employee that sat in a company for 15 years that goes, why do we do things like this? Everyone's got an idea, but the problem is it's their own limiting belief and the fact that they go, well, I can never do that. I can't do this. But that's where I feel that I'd like to support more people to be able to build stuff that they can't just do sat in a company just because they think they can't. So trying to be able to help people do that. That's kind of, or people that have built businesses but don't know how necessarily to do it, like from the technical side, how to scale them, do stuff like that. So I'd love to try and support more people like that. So when I saw all the stuff that you were doing and helping people build companies and launch products, I really liked the way that you're doing it. I really like your mission as well. And I hadn't realized you've been doing it for so long. So obviously I looked back to how long you guys have been doing this, and it's crazy. So I'd love to see that you follow a similar sort of mission. Hence the reason I reached out to you, because I was like, finding people that like to do that and have built around that. And again, like yesterday, I saw what you expect from people as well. I think that's a really nice thing to have out there and be open. And I like the fact that you are super open with these things, because I think for me, it is a benefit. I think back in the old days of building like startups and stuff like 10 years ago, everyone was very much like, no, I can't share my thing with you because no one cares. Like, honestly, no one gives a shit. And so it's nice now to collectively we are better. You know, we think that we can do things on our own, but as you mature and get older, you realize that playing to your weaknesses is really something that you should do. Understand what you can do and hire or try and build a network of people that can support you in things that you can't do as well. So
yeah, interesting. So yeah, so there are a lot of points here to discuss. Let's start from this, like about like respect. So like people in LinkedIn, they also like kind of respect, but it's like cringy kind of stuff. Like it's not a real respect. So it's really interesting. Like what I figure out. Like just to be sincere, like here's a good example. So Sandra from Clue, she had a birthday like a few days ago, and I was going to like send her a message, and I thought, why I'm sending her a message? I can record a video. And I recorded this video, so like it was like better for her. It more people learned about her, and I helped her, so I gave her some respect. And what I'm trying to say, so it's very hard for people just to be like open, like to publish things that they say privately, even if these are good things. Like if they say like some person, you are an awesome man, they somehow too shy to say it in public. I don't know why. So that's what I'm trying to do, and I am like over pushing it, like doing like crazy, like I don't know, like typing button just to make people to post something, just to start thinking about it like a iMessage or something.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that what you have over the things I hate about Twitter, and there aren't many, I mean, there are a few, but not many, but I love the fact that you are just unashamedly authentic. Like what you get is you. Like that's what I read from the tweets anyway. And so it's not like, oh, I'm going to spend all my time crafting these engagement bait bullshit things. It's just what it is. It's the realness. And I think because of that is what I want from Twitter. Like I don't want this bullshit engagement bait stuff that's all cookie cutter advice that has probably never been done by someone anyway. They're just sharing the same shit that's been regurgitated 9 million times, and they've just scheduled it anyway, so it's no one's going to, like, you know what I mean? I hate this sort of shit, but it seems to pick up traction, which annoys me even more. But I like the fact that you are just, it comes in your head and you're like, I'm sharing this because this is what it is, and I like that.
Yeah, let me tell you my Twitter story. I don't know if you know it already, but I was in Twitter for more than 2 years, and for 2 years I had like less than 300 followers. But I was like tweeting daily and really trying to understand what is going on. But I was following wrong people, like you said, like big accounts with like weird like giveaways, like a comment, I will send you DM, or like. In order to grow in Twitter, you should engage a lot. And I was thinking, what the hell is this engagement? How do I engage? And now when I figure out what it is, I'm just like sharing this advice. Man, all you need to do is click this button. Because I know there are a lot of people like me who don't like figure out what is this engagement, what is stuff, and they just need to start and clicking this button for fun, even like to reply to me and start like doing this stuff. And that's what I'm trying to go to very basics and say, like, in order to grow, all you need to be nice. Here is what it means to be nice. It means you should help people daily.
Yeah.
I'm trying to do like very basic advice like this.
It's good, and I think that So I've also got a YouTube channel, and I think going through that process is a similar one to posting on Twitter, because when you start, you're worried about what the reaction is going to be to your tweets or to your videos, whatever. You're worried about how you represent yourself, or like what that looks like, and so you end up starting to try and mimic the people you follow. So to your point, like you follow the wrong people, and then you're like, okay, to do well on this platform, whether it's YouTube or Twitter, I must replicate the people that are doing well, so I'm going to try and be like them there. And but you lose your own voice then, and I think that through that journey you end up but it takes some time to work out, like, what is my voice, what does it look like, what does that mean, and trying to find that is, I think, difficult, but I think that's part of the journey. And once you get comfortable with that, you're not trying to be like anyone else after that. You're like, no. And so because of that, I think engagement generally becomes better, because you weed out all of the bullshit, and your connections and the quality of your connections and the people that follow you are better. So I think that it is a journey that people have to kind of go through, and instead of trying to just follow exactly what other people are doing, you've just got to try and be true to yourself, what you believe. And if that's not right for the people that are following you, then there are billions of people in the world. I'm sure you'll find some people that are interested in that sort of shit. So I'd much rather do that.
Yeah, I agree. And it's actually brought me some other memory again about Stefan. So Stefan is a special guest because he played a special role in my Twitter. He was, I think, like the first cool guy from Twitter who noticed me and started to show like how to use Twitter, basically like shit posting under my tweets and stuff. And I just saw it. Yeah, I like it. I just continue to do it. And he was like the first guy who showed it to me. So shout out, Stefan. Thank you. And it's
King of shit posting under people's tweets.
yeah, so it's also helpful, and it's interesting. So again, going to this community and help, like going back to my story. So it's all about like these people, like Stefan, then like who played the core role like in my Twitter growth is Dan. You do know Dan? D4M1N. Then Sandra from Clue and Alex from Bike Design.
Yeah.
Because like they all started at the same time, but I was there for 2 years. They just discovered me, and we grew like together. And like if we're talking about growth, so it's all about these people, and that's why like we work in this community. We figure out that the people is the secret, like, and you don't need them like full time. You don't need to hire them full time. You just need to I don't know, have a good connection, relaxed connection, like not a business relation. So you expect that they sell something to you. Just a relaxed connection with them, so you can just reach out and say like, Sandra, can you help me with Product Hunt Lounge? And she in 1 hour will do more than I'll do like in 1 month. And so that's why we're trying to it's our future. So if we like collect more and more people around like these powerful people, and we appreciate the works and we drive them forward, that's the secret of our like retirement, our huge profits. Because again, okay, we can have some specialists like on full time, but it's never will be this output like from the like legit builders who like in the like working full day. So yeah, community is super important. That's what I just realized like in I don't know, like 7 months ago or something.
It increases speed like no end, like ridiculously, like and like you said, it's way better. I'd argue that it's better than a paid service as well. So for example, if you're doing like a design and you want someone to critique it or whatever, you then go and engage in that. One, it's a time factor. That time just takes a long time. But having like people in your own community, people that you know, people that you trust, be able to just pick holes and pick things apart in it, like it just, I think the feedback's better. Like you know where it's coming from, you understand it, and there's no like, I don't know, it just feels better. It's quicker as well. I just think you can do so many things much faster when you have a decent, well-rounded network of people. I think that's, and like you said, it's like, it's not that you go into this sort of thing doing it for that reason. You don't like, oh, I want to make connections with these people because I want something from them. It's more a case of how can we collectively help each other? Like everyone's a like-minded person. We all want the same thing overall. Like we all love doing the things we do. That's just why we're here. And it's like, if you go out there, like you said previously, just to try and help. And that if that's your instinct overall, then that comes through. And then collectively people are like, oh, well, I'll help you when I need. And it just becomes like you said, a really nice community where people are just happy to help each other and support each other in the growth and building the things that, you know, the futures that we all want. And I think that's just it's a really nice place to be. And this is what I've enjoyed about Twitter recently. I think it's
Nice,
just
nice.
something really nice about that.
Yeah, I seem to understand this. Okay, going back to your initial pitch. So I mentioned something about, as far as I understood, like, first of all, you mentioned that like everyone can be a founder. Do you have an idea of a system like to make somebody a founder? I think you mentioned process. So, like, what's in the mind? Because
So
I think we
really
developed a process, so we can discuss.
yeah. So it really depends. And so like recently, before I just learned about you guys, I was like, I'm working on lots of different things for different people I know or have approached me to help them build stuff and bring products to market. And so I was like, I should probably like create some sort of entity that this works under, because otherwise it's all just a bit like chaotic. And how can I do this in a better way? So that's where I created the Hopium Lab with a few of my friends based over in Basel, where I am. And they're all like developers and stuff like that. And like, I'm more on I know enough to be dangerous. So I know that something's possible, which is the developer's worst nightmare, but I'm not a developer at all. I like to do a bit of design and stuff like that, but I wouldn't say I was any good at it. Like, I'm good enough to get something down there functionally, whatever, but I mainly focus on product and business. This is where I really enjoy it. I'd be way happier just picking up the phone and just cold calling businesses. That would be much better. And so I was like, okay, how can we, again, like create our own little co-op of different skills that we can draw on? And then how can I create an entity around that? So that's where the Hopium Lab was built. And so the Hopium Lab is a group of me and some friends where we can draw upon each other's experience to deliver things for people. And so, but that's mainly focused on pure product. And I'd never say that we're like development agency in that way, because I don't like that. Like, I don't want to just develop stuff for people because they ask for it. It's more like on the product consultancy side, bringing things to market. It doesn't matter if you're a company or a founder. So I was approached by a friend of mine who was one of these guys, you know, an employee that had worked in a company for over 10 years and was like, why can't this be done better? Like, there's a process improvement here, but there's nothing that caters for this. And this takes us months and it's such a money soak. I want to do something with this, but I don't know how. And so in that instance, it's a case of, well, how involved do you want to be with this? Like, how do you want, and this is where it's like, okay, how do you build a process around that? So we like to do the validation and the whole kind of lean product management side of things to understand whether it's a viable thing that we can create a solution for anyway. So we do all of that sort of validation up front, look at the market size and try and assess that. And then we spoke to him and was like, what sort of engagement do you want with this? Do you want to be an active person, an active role with this? Or would you prefer us to build something around this and you take more of a backseat, but you play a subject matter expert in it? So I think it really depends. And I think, and having that approach to be able to say, but again, it involves commitment. So even if you want to take more of a backseat, it's like, if you want to do this, we're committing this, and that's like a lot. But that means we expect these things from you. And I think that's super important up front. This is why I really enjoyed reading your expectations from a founder.
Tell me more about it, because it's really super important. Yeah,
it is super important, because if you don't get those expectations laid out up front, there's always going to be a misalignment. And the further you go down, that slips. And as soon as it slips a little bit, you find that someone's disappointed in some way. And then you have to have those conversations and like, yeah, you know, we've committed all this stuff and like, you're not doing the thing and like, we're wasting our time here. And so I think having those commitments and expectations set up front is super important. So this is what we did with this one, for instance, and this is building a whole SaaS solution and product suite for a really interesting industry. So he's taking more of a backseat, and also as well, because if you're an employee of a company that's wanting to build a software that could potentially be sold to that company, that's potentially conflict of interest. So he's like, I'm happy to be like SME on this, and you can build something around it. But in that case, similar to you guys, we can take equity in an equity stake in the product or in the company, But it means that we lay down, this is exactly what we're doing, this is the expectation up front, we build this around it, and this is what we take for that. We're taking a lot of the risk, so we need a lot of the reward for it, because we're going to be doing all these roles. And so we just look at that up front, and then we break it down into stages as well, and then understand when we can go from potential, say, our MVP, because we're doing it in like 3 different product stages. And it's like, okay, when can we start getting in front of these? It's a really small market. There's only about 10 companies in the world that would actually use this software. And so it's like, when can we start engaging with these companies to do some pre-sales on this potential? So we've been structuring it like that whole thing of trying to get to a point where we've done some of the back end, we've done the feasibility testing, we know that it's physically possible to do what we want to do. And then it's the next stage of like, okay, we've done feasibility, how can we get in front of the customer or the potential customers and say, we've got this thing, here's a prototype demo of it, this is what it looks like, this is how it works, would you be interested in it? And then run like fuck to try and make it possible in as fast as time. And so yeah, we try and structure it in different ways. And I've got other stuff that comes in as well from like different clients that are looking for different stuff. And some can be just really small, improve online presence. Like I've got a lot of people that I know that have started their own businesses in completely different random spaces. And I think the hard part is trying to have a defined process for every type of customer or person you work with. And I think that's what will come over time, just working out, okay, where are you joining the process? You've got a product, that's your service, whatever. What do you need? How can we help you? What does it look like? And so trying to look at it from a pure product life cycle and business model point of view and say, I love a business model canvas. A business model canvas helps me just put stuff down, and then I can sit with someone and say, okay, this is your business model. Where are you struggling with that? What don't you know? And how can we support that? And so that's where I often start with people. And then we can just look at it from that and then see how we can support and what we can provide for it.
Got it. And how long does it usually take, like, to I don't know, to build a product, or like what projects you already done?
It really depends. The one we're working on at the moment, we've probably be doing for a couple of months. But yeah, but we're at a point now where we're at that MVP demoable point. So it's taken a couple of months, but it's probably the biggest part about that was because the back end's quite heavy. It's got it's essentially you have to upload like schematic documents, and it does machine learning to analyze every element on that document, and then it has to do some calculations based on that. So to train the model, it took quite a while to get to that point. So hence the reason it took 2 months. I think normally with a more simple product, it could be more simple than that, but data is always the issue when you're building something that has to train a model.
That's nice. Yeah, it's a good answer. So what we're trying to do now is to lower as default, like to 1 month. But yeah, I understand that there are some projects that are different. But basically, just so what I found, it's just a different question. So you can think like, what should I build? What MVP should I build? And it can be endless, like, thought process. But instead, you can ask, what should I build in 1 month? And it's a completely different story. So like trying to figure out what you actually can release, what actually makes sense. So it's all like keep your thoughts focused. So probably it won't be 1 month, probably it will be 2 months eventually, but you was focused like on the right things. So it's cool that you keep it short.
Yeah, and I think that I completely agree. And it's the biggest thing that I think that most people and companies struggle with. In my day job, the biggest struggle that we have is our cycle times, our time to value. So time to value for customers is the biggest thing. This is why I'm so impressed by the people that ship like crazy amounts.
Oh man, I have a lot to discuss here, and I really love this. Time to value, you mean like the first moment when user like gets something, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I am obsessed with it, and I think
it's really interesting because again, it is to that MVP point too, because like, and it's totally true, because everyone, if you ask anyone to define what an MVP is, they'll be like, oh, and everyone will give you a different definition of what that should be. And it really does depend. And I think that sometimes that can completely change as you're going through the process. Like building this thing that we're building right now, we initially looked at the existing customer journey, and we were like, well, we can make improvements in that customer journey. And then we sat back and we had to think about it, and we were like, well, why does it have to be that way? Like, why does it have to be that same way? If we're going to make an improvement, why don't we make a bigger improvement? And in fact, we're creating a whole new customer journey that's different, and the way that the product will be used would actually simplify things completely differently. So I think sometimes you look at things and try and think, oh, this is what it should look like. But then as you go through, that evolves, and you're like, whoa, why is it like, if you're replicating another system or another product or whatever it might be, we look at the way that things are done, because that's kind of, I think, that how we focus things. Like, we know what's there, we understand what's there, let's A to B. And it's like, what happens if A to B don't even exist? Like, what would you do in that case? And so I think sometimes you really need to understand the value that you're trying to provide. And so for this initial one, for example, we were talking about an efficiency in the process, but when you break that efficiency down to the core of what value you're trying to provide for that company, you're trying to provide a reduced sales cycle time. So you're trying to get it so that customer, that company can seal that customer in a much quicker time. And so I think being able to focus on what that value is enables you to think about how you deliver that value in the most simple and the best way. So I think that a lot of people still look at the solution and don't focus on what value are you providing for that customer, and then focus on, okay, what does that look like? And so I think that's something that I think that a lot of like, I suppose, product management sort of stuff helps you do, those sorts of processes, and that it really drills into those, because those things are important. So I think those things have helped me. And it's not perfect. I often go back and realize, I look again and go, what the fuck did I think that was the case? And then I redo it. But I think those things are super important in getting to that first point of what you're delivering of value. Like, you don't want to rewrite the whole thing, but it's like you want to get that bit right first and then iterate on that.
Yeah, yeah, I can tell you, I mentioned like I'm too obsessed with it. I can tell what I mean about. So I found like few products that really great. One of them is Tally. Do you know this form builder?
I think so.
So the cool thing about them that they have a landing page, and you can just click a button and start creating form right away, like the whole builder. So they do not require you sign up, and the builder is very cool. So you just feel and you just start using it right away. So I was impressed by this idea. Like, saw it a couple of times in different places, and one of the projects that we're building is this like momentum page. It's a landing page builder. And that's we started like from this declaration. I said like we need to launch landing page in seconds. How can we do this? So we like removed all the authentication. We only require 2 fields. So you click like publish, and the page is published. And I think so. The things that we did, it's so quick that people don't realize what's happening, and we actually have like even more happening. Like they have a configured welcome email. They have like analytics and stuff, and I found that people are confused that so much things like happen in this short period of time. So now our goal is to explain like what happened, and I think it will be like kind of educational videos inside the product. Not about the product itself, but here is how you validate a product. So you now launch landing page. Now you need to distribute it. Here's how you can distribute it. And your goal is to get these emails. When you get an email, you for sure need to communicate with them, because that's why you get an email. So stuff like that. So it's more like some training more about like a product. So I think
yeah, that's super interesting. And I like the fact that, you know, doing it in seconds is reducing that barrier to entry, because most people go like, that's their first point, right? Their first sticky point is, I need a landing page, and they go, but I need someone to build it for me, or I need to, what tool do I use, or whatever. And then so that becomes the sticking point. So for you, it's like you've just removed that completely. So like anyone can do it anytime. But I really like that like added value on top of that, to say the landing page is the first step, and arguably the easiest step. Like, and you've made it even easier, but it is the easiest step. But it's like, yeah, but you can't just create it and leave it. So I like the fact that you're going to that next level, because that's where most people fail, right? They create something and go, is anyone going to click on my Stripe payment link. No, they're not going to do that. So they don't even know it exists. So what's that next step? So that's really cool.
Yeah, and let me tell you unexpected thing that I found. So once we implemented the thing and we actually can launch a landing page with like cool lots of sync in seconds, now it's not about I can launch a website in seconds. It's about I can launch 10 websites in minute. So it changes like the way how you think about things. So now you can just be on the call and you discuss something and you can say, oh, it's a cool idea, and you launch a page like right away. Oh, this is a cool idea too, and you just have these links, and one of the links can work. I don't know, for some reason. And as always, probably it will be 100 links and one will work. Cool. Something like that. So it's something cool that I discovered, and think we will double down on that too. Just saying, like, don't like overinvest in ideas. Just bury them. Like ideas can be validated in a day, and tomorrow you can validate other idea. Don't work on something if you don't feel like you need to. Something like that.
Yeah, I'm way more like that. I have about 1 million different things that I do in various different ways, and I do that. I do it when it feels right, and if it doesn't, I'm like, okay, I'm not going to push something that doesn't. So I completely, that's exactly how I work. But how do you, with these sorts of things, how do you, because you have a host, and I saw your tweet the other day, which went into all of the different things and what they are and how they work and everything like that. What's your process behind deciding if you want to do something? Like, if you want to do something before, you're fairly public anyway, but like, do you do something and then go, okay, this is something that I should share, or do you just share everything? Like, or is there a point where you go, okay, this is actually, we've built a thing that's quite cool, I'm going to get it out there? Or is it first idea that comes into your head, you just get it out there?
Yeah, so I will publish like this playbook, but I think it's pretty defined at the moment. But yeah, it's about. So let me tell you like the story, like how we came to it. Yeah, so it will be logical. So we used to have these classical meetings, like private meetings with like 5 people who just decide stuff, and we have some problem, and there will be someone with like complete no experience who will just say, I know that these things work this way, and I heard this, and it's just like stupid meetings and just 5 people sitting and thinking about something they don't understand. So, and we really was trying to fix this, like how do we make it actionable? How do we like actually solve problems? And if we like discover problems, but not like discovering them over and over again. So that's like our like playbook today. So if someone like raised some issue and he says that probably we should do something, we say, okay, if probably we should do something, go and do this and show us traction, like with the founders, like the same way. But it can be internal projects. Probably someone say, I believe that we will need to hire more DevOps people. I don't know, stuff like that. Okay, it's cool that you believe, but show us like why and how, like create a presentation, go to clients, collect their interest, pitch understand if they actually valuable. DevOps is a random example, but I mean, it's about everything. So we just like want to start discussions about topics that we are not experts, like let's say, so we don't have experience. So instead, now if someone have an idea and we say, oh, it sounds like a cool, like projects. If you like DevOps, like let's take this thing as an example, like should we hire more or product managers? So now we can, the person can take the ownership on this like project and tweet the same day, like I don't know. So they should somehow pitch it. So it's no longer like some closed bullshit. They need to pitch. So they need to create probably like I'm launching a product management brand that will launch a product from 0 to 1. Who's in? And no response will be, and there is zero interest from people. That like because like nothing starts with the first tweets. So we want them to make this first step and fail, like fail today, and start thinking about right thing. Okay, so who is my target audience? Who is the what a change do I provide? What the effort do I need to do? What my goals? Like the same like questions that you ask when you're doing a product. So basically, our playbook is if you have a project idea, you launch it today, you work on it daily, you tweet about it daily. Because if you work on it daily, why don't you tweet about it daily? like don't you work on it? Like, don't you have something to discuss, a small thing like about your project? It doesn't make sense. Don't work on it if you don't have anything to discuss. And the trick is that people need to discover what to share. So that's like the skill, like storytelling skill, let's say. So storytelling lenses. And I also like have action advices on storytelling from Matthew Dix. It's a storyteller and author. I learned from him. But basically, his advice, his primary advice, is like completely the same. He says like, if you want to improve your life, you need to write your best moment daily, every day, without no exception. And the main thing, without no exception, because that's like when you feel it's painful for you because you don't have any like joyful moment in a day. You feel that you suck. You don't want to add this, but when you force yourself and write, I don't know, you can write, I forced myself to write this stupid shit here, I'm happy now. Like something like that. And that's how you overcome and you start seeing the world differently. Like you see more and more. And that's how I started to like see a lot of small tests, a lot of small appreciations about people. I see a lot of like bad people like who hurts someone. So I see when someone do like otherwise, I really appreciate that they do like this way. So it's so back to framework. So start today, work daily. If you don't work daily, stop it.
That's interesting. And how do you work with, because obviously through Paralect you have all of the companies that you've helped.
Mm-hmm.
And if someone comes to you, they're like, they got this idea, they want to build this product or whatever. Have you ever got, do you have like a yes no gate? Like, does someone come to you and you look at the idea and you think that's just stupid, or do you still follow the same process of making them validate and stuff like that? Do you have any of your own like bias in that sense where you go, I don't really feel that one?
Oh yeah. Just to clarify, so in Paralect, so most of the projects they are run like the old way, so it's very difficult to change. So that's why we're launching like these new things just to not depend on Paralect, and now we're kind of merging them. So that's also interesting. But yeah, we're slowly changing existing projects. But you know, like there are huge clients that like we work 10 years with, and they are like too slow to like accept all these changes. But I think like if we prove like that it works and we now bring more attention from that, we'll just show that it makes sense to like everyone from existing clients. Yeah. So what was the original question? Sorry.
It just, if a founder comes to you with an idea and they want to build, do you ever just sack it off because you think it's a shit idea?
Yeah, I can tell. And it's also important. So it's important for you because you have this filter. I really like to say no, and I want my team to train to say no because they don't like to say no. But that's like the best things that you can do both for you and like the person. And I really like to be like leading sales call. So if I feel that someone like pressure me on the call, I can start joking them like just to like, dude, stop it, like what are you doing like here, like I'm who I am, like I'm working on you, what's going on. So there was one guy and he called me. He knew us through our good connection, a client. And he just came on the call like sitting like very like ball like this, like hey, I need to hire 2 3 developers right now. Do this stuff. So, dude, we are not doing that. Like, we are a startup studio. We want to build startups. We want success. What are your goals? What are you building? What you already achieved and stuff. And he, no, developers. I said, okay, no, we don't work this way again. And I just was sitting all this time on this call, explaining philosophy and stuff. And we ended the call. And what I did. I wrote a follow-up with all the stuff like, here is the company we created, the exit is 1 billion, here is the courses that we align with full stack development, here is a full stack like boiler pads that we developed, here is the product that we launched, here is the traction that I got, here is the Paralect, like bye. And he was trying to hire us for a long time. Like he was trying to get in touch with me, and then with the other person like from our team. She went on the call with him, and she said the same, like, the dude, I don't like him. And I said, okay, we say no to him. And it was so funny because he later really like was trying to hire us to pay us money, but we say no. And he later heard about us from his other friend, investor, with whom we were hanging out in Portugal, like doing fun stuff, and he was like, "What these guys like?" And that's what I'm trying to build, like the brand. I just want to define these people that do not fit our our passion, like our character, our skills, and just like say no to them. If they like pushing me, I will say no loudly and say why they're bad. Like if they pushing, because that's what brings like right people here.
Totally. And I think that's one of the hardest things, especially when you're starting out, because you think money's money, and it's like I don't want to say no to money, but like you're right. I think if you'll end up regretting it, because it would dilute your true mission of what you want to do in the first place, and then it's just not beneficial to your company, whatever you want to do. But it's the hard part, right? Because no one wants to say no, and they're like, yeah, but it's money. Like they want to pay us, and we like money, and so it's difficult. But it's nice to be able to say no because it doesn't fit your mission.
Yeah, for sure. It's not like just because I'm rebel and I want to do this stuff. It's because we worked with bad clients and they destroyed like our people. Like people wasn't happy about the work. They didn't achieve anything like in a year of work. They were blaming like us and clients. I just don't want like this to happen. So that's why I want to find clients that don't work with me like it is a work. They should work like we should hang out together, trying to figure out stuff, like I know, drinking beer, like riding scooters, whatever. Like not like speaking like, okay, what you will deliver under this budget, and how do we stop the team, and then how do we continue? I don't know. I don't want this like discussions anymore.
I completely agree. Having been stuck in so many meetings in my life, and I still am, I completely agree. And I think you've got to stay true to that and what you want to build, because otherwise, but that's why people will come to you. You know, you'll have the whole queue of people that come to you because of the way you work. And so you have to say no to some people sometimes, because you're like, it's mutually beneficial for us not to work together. You won't get what you want. We won't get what we want. It will be miserable for us both. So go find someone that's just going to do your stuff for you. And so I think there's a lot to be said for that.
Cool. And also, Ross, we have one question to you from Adar Sharma in Twitter. It's a pretty good one. What does you know for which you would have paid $500?
Yeah, I saw that and I was trying to think about it. And the hardest part is that, so I'm a doer. So I think experience trumps everything. So it's really hard to answer that question, because if someone told me something, I probably would not believe it anyway, or I'd go, okay, but then I'd only trust it if I had done it myself. Because the amount of stuff that, and this is what I do quite a lot on YouTube, and I'm trying to do more of it. It's experiment with things that other people have tried to make money. I'm doing something at the moment because I haven't made a video in like 4 weeks, and I thought I'd make a video again. And I got stuck into this habit of like reviewing different products and apps and stuff. And then I was like, why am I doing this? Because I'm not actually enjoying it. So I started, now I'm off for this week. I thought, you know what, I'm going to do a video. So I saw something where someone had tried to just make money, just cold calling random companies, just using Google Maps. So looking at local companies and going, okay, like hair salons. So I tried hair salons yesterday. I was like, that'll do. And you pick a random city, random town, whatever, that's got quite a lot of them. And then you scroll right down to the ones that are ranking really badly, and you just phone them up and say, you're ranking really badly, no one's finding you, and can I help you improve these services? And I was like, that's quite interesting, because it means you get to talk to local businesses, find out their pain points as well, and stuff like that. But if someone had said that to me and just said, yeah, you could do it, I'm not going to just say, yeah, you can. Like, I want to go out and then try it. I want to go out and experience the thing and doing the thing to see if it is actually beneficial and what I can get from it. So it's really hard to say I would pay $500 for X or for Y, because there's nothing like skill wise that I don't think that I would pay for. So then I was like trying to think a bit more like out of the box. And I think I think everything has to be experienced. That's the way I work. Like for years, like one of the biggest revelations of my life was some years ago, because I used to be really like career focused. I wanted to get to the top. Everything I'm in, I'm like, I want to be at the top. I want to go to the top. So my career at the time was that. And I was like, chasing money, chasing job titles, all of that sort of stuff. And I kept thinking that getting those things would make me happy. And I missed so much of what was going on in my life. I had so much to be thankful for, but I was never like, if someone said to me, "You're happy?" I'm like, I'm content, but I'm not happy because I haven't reached my goals yet. And chasing that for me was one of the biggest things that meant I lost who I was, and I lost the journey, like the power of the journey. And so when I found that happiness was literally the journey, it takes the pressure off everything, and also it helps you realize everything. And a million people could have told me that, and I would have easily paid $500 for that advice. However, I never would have had it truly sink in until I had that realization myself. So like understanding that retrospectively and the power of that is like, I love what I do every day. I would do the same if I was a millionaire, if I had whatever, a billionaire, I would still want to help people bring products to market because I really fucking enjoy it. And so when you get to that point of like, you just enjoy what you're doing, whether things fail or not, it doesn't really matter. Like, I don't care. Like if I work on something for 6 months and decide, as long as I don't overcommit myself, over leverage and put too much risk on myself, I don't care if I then just spin it. It doesn't make a difference. I learned a shitload along the way. I can do stuff faster next time. Carry on. But I would have easily paid for that advice earlier on, but I'm not sure I would have listened to it.
And it's actually very cool things that made me realize something. So the whole my life, I never was driven by being the top somewhere, like get more money. Okay, I wasn't obsessed with money, like, and I'm still not. So it's pretty cool. So so that's probably my skill, like what I say. So naturally, like help because I'm not focused on like getting real money from the very beginning. Let's say so. Interesting. Yeah, cool. Okay, I think we should already wrap up because yeah, we'll need to figure out plan for Nana with Dmitry, with our CEO. He's already picking me. One last question, Ross. What do you want to say to building public community?
I think the biggest message is, yeah, like we're better together. Like we said at the beginning, I think the biggest point for me is that building a community is one of the biggest things you can do. It doesn't matter if it's your Twitter followers is your community or whatever it might be. It doesn't have to be your own community, but creating a collective of like-minded people that are just trying to bring each other up is the best thing that you could possibly do. Like, we can all learn from each other. We've all got completely different experiences, and we come at things from completely different angles, and be okay with being wrong. Like, be okay with failing. It's fine. Like, just pick yourself up, take the ego out of things, learn as much as you can, and yeah, just be nice to each other. Try and help people as much as you can. Like, it will come back tenfold.
Cool. I love it. So thank you a lot, Ross, for this call. I really enjoyed the conversation. I think we had a lot of cool things to discuss. So let me click this top.
Do it in public. You have nothing to hide. Start using the internet. Join the ride.